All right, first of all, I want to be clear right from the start, I don't regret hiking the PCT, obviously. With that said, of course, on any thru hike or any adventure, there's gonna be some things that go well, some things you're very happy with, and there's plenty of those on my PCT hike. However, of course, there's also gonna be things that maybe you wish you would have done a little bit differently, maybe things that you regret. I know that word is kind of dramatic, but then again, a lot of the words I use are kind of dramatic. These aren't things that keep me up at night. I'm not sitting there like, oh, God damn it. These things aren't that big of a deal. However, I think it's good to just reflect on some things I wish I would have done a little bit differently. So that way, if you are gonna be going out and hiking the PCT in the future, or any long distance trail for that matter, I don't know, I just think this stuff can be useful to analyze, and hopefully you'll be able to learn something from it, dude. Honestly, the last one I'm gonna talk about, number 5, is probably the biggest regret that I have. And so definitely watch until the end of the video so you can hear about that and hopefully avoid making the same mistake that I did. Okay, regret number 1 about my PCT thru hike, and I think Flossie, my hiking partner, would agree with this too because we've talked about it. I wish that we had started our thru hike earlier. Now for some context, we started the PCT on May 15th, 2022, and we chose this date for a few reasons. The first reason was because that's just how the permits worked out. That's probably the biggest reason, honestly. Flossie and I were starting together, and as a lot of you know, you have to do the lottery system to get a PCT permit. It's a little bit tricky to get a permit even just for one person, let alone to get a permit on the same exact day as another person to try to plan that out. We knew that was gonna be the case from the start, and so we kind of knew like, we're probably not gonna get like an ideal start date, especially for 2 people. And it just so happened that May 15th was the earliest date that we could get. I'm pretty sure the PCTA is changing the system for this upcoming year. I don't really know the details, but I heard they're gonna make it easier to get like 2 permits for the same day. So hopefully this won't be an issue for people going forward, or as much of an issue going forward, but that's just kind of how it worked out for us. It also worked out to do a mid-May start. It also worked out to have a mid-May start date because the lease for the house that we were living in at the time was up on June 1st. And so if we had started in like early April, then we would have been eating like 2 months of rent, and instead we only had to eat like, you know, half a month of rent. So that worked out, you know, it was all right. But like I said, I really wish we had put more thought into this and we had started earlier. And the reason is because fires. And I know you can't predict fires, obviously, but I definitely have a better understanding of how the fire seasons work out west than I did before the PCT. It seems like, I don't know, what, like mid to late summer, fall, that's like the main fire season. And so if you start earlier, you have a better chance of making it through Northern California and just the entire trail basically before all the fires start and they have to close portions of the trail. Of course, having an earlier start date also comes with other issues, like you're gonna be hiking through more snow most likely. There's still a chance of fires and it's gonna be colder. So there's definitely downsides, but if hiking the entire trail is something that's really important to you, as it was to us, a late start date is definitely not the way to go. People freaking warned, you guys warned us about this in the comments when we first announced our PCT hike. I was aware of this, but I just kind of blocked it out in my brain. I was very, very ignorant about the fact that a late start date probably meant a bigger chance of fires. I wish we had an earlier start date. It might have helped avoid some of the fires, although our videos were freaking fire out there, so I guess we were on fire the whole time. That is not funny. I think all my jokes are gonna bomb in this video, folks. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling very humorous today. But anyways, what's the deal with fires? Ugh. But one thing that will not bomb is today's sponsor, freaking Drink Element, dude. I'm so happy that this amazing electrolyte drink mix company is sponsoring my videos again. When Flossie and I were on the PCT, I've said it a million times, it was super hot. We were sweating a ton every day, especially me, because I'm a sweaty boy. And I'm so grateful that I had Drink Element to replace my electrolytes with. Guys, I was drinking this stuff every single day on the PCT, because if you're not replacing your electrolytes when you're sweating a lot, when you're out there in the sun, you're gonna get muscle cramps, you're gonna feel fatigued. It's just not good. And one of the reasons why I like Drink Element way better than any other electrolyte drink mix I've had before is because there's no crap in it. There's no sugar, it's gluten-free, it just has the electrolytes you need and it tastes really great, especially this flavor right here. This is my favorite. This is the citrus salt. I cannot tell you how many of these freaking packets I drank on the PCT. And not only that, but they're also a huge supporter of this channel, and they care about their customers as well. So I'm gonna ask you to go to drinkelement.com/KyleHatesHiking. That's drinklmnt.com/KyleHatesHiking. Link in the description. And if you do that and you place an order, guess what? Drink Element, dude, they're awesome. They're gonna hook you up with a free sample pack of 8 different flavors. That's right, folks, you can get a free sample pack with any purchase, and you can use this offer as many times as you want for a limited amount of time. One more time, drinklmnt.com/KyleHatesHiking. Go get the sample pack, and let's talk about some more regrets. This next regret from my PCT through hike is definitely one that I should have seen coming because I've experienced this on other hikes as well. But regret number 2, I wish that I had been a little bit more social with other hikers. I know that some hikers go out there to like get away from people and be in the wilderness and, you know, do all this, and they don't really care about meeting other people, and that's totally fine. And then there's tons of hikers who are out there purely to make friends basically and only care about that aspect of it. And that's also, I shouldn't say only, but you know, there's nothing wrong with that either. I feel like I kind of fall somewhere in the middle. I like to have like a core group of like homies, dude, friggin' homies hiking up the hills, but I don't really like it when the trail's like overcrowded, which is very hypocritical of me to say because I'm a YouTuber and probably people are hiking because you know, they're watching YouTube. So fuck me, but I don't know. I like a nice balance between like people. Like I don't want to be totally by myself, but also I don't want it to be too crowded. And there was definitely times on the PCT where I just was not really feeling super social. And I just was kind of like, I wish there wasn't as many people here. You probably heard me complain about it a few times in the videos. There was literally 7,000 other hikers in our campsite last night. And I do feel bad about that. And looking back on it, I feel like, not for the whole trail, but there were certain times where I think I kind of had a bad attitude. And I really regret that because I'm sure that a lot of those people were amazing. And I think I could have probably made some more friends if I had been just a little bit more social, a little bit more open. Again, I wasn't like a shun-in. I wasn't like being an asshole to people and stuff, but I don't know. I wish I had made a little bit more of an effort to make some more friends. So keep that in mind. And this next regret that I have is that not all of you are subscribed to the channel, dude. In fact, the majority of you are not subscribed. I want to get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. The haters don't think it's possible. It might not be, but I'm gonna try, so please hit subscribe if you enjoy these videos. Okay, this next regret is something that I was fully aware of might be an issue before my through hike. It's something I thought about quite a bit, and it's something I tried to avoid at the beginning and then basically just completely gave up on. I wish I had eaten healthier when I was through hiking. When I started, I was like, all right, I'm gonna, you know, I wasn't gonna go like total health nut, but I was like, I wanna eat healthier than I usually do on trail. I'm gonna try to eat more nuts. I'm gonna try to eat more dried fruit. I'm gonna pack out vegetables when I have the opportunity. I'm gonna eat like the healthy protein bars for breakfast. I'm not gonna eat the sugar and the honey buns. And guess what happened after like 3 weeks on trail? I bought some goddamn honey buns, for f***'s sake. It was just hard, man. Like I was getting hungrier and hungrier, and I just felt like I needed more calories. It's easy to get calories through unhealthy food. I was eating so much that like just a 4-day resupply would completely fill up my food bag. My pack was super heavy that day leaving town. I eat a lot of food in general, even when I'm not backpacking. And so I felt like in order to get the amount of calories that I needed, I just had to eat junk food, and honestly I was craving it more too. But looking back on it, I don't think I really needed to do that. I'm sure I needed some junk food still, and I'm still gonna eat junk food on future hikes, but I think I needed to balance it out more. And then when I was in town, I also told myself before the hike I would make up for some of the junk food by eating healthier at restaurants. I did not do that at all. I had a large fry, a medium fry, a crispy chicken sandwich, a double quarter pounder with cheese, 20 McNuggets, and that shake. I still felt okay physically on the hike, but it just doesn't feel good physically or mentally to be eating unhealthy food for that long of a time. I wish I had eaten healthier, so don't make that mistake. Eat healthy, you fat slob. I can't say that. Another regret that I have, and this is one that almost every single person says after they get done their through hike, I wish I had taken more photos. Now, I feel like I gotta give myself a little bit of a pass with this one because I was filming the hike, obviously, and so every single day I was taking tons of video, B-roll, so it wasn't like I was just never using my camera or my phone, but I think because I was filming the hike so much, I didn't take very many photos because my instinct was when I pull out the camera, I take a video. And as a result, I got a ton of great video, which I know that a lot of you guys enjoyed very much, but I don't really have that many photos. I've posted almost every single photo for my PCT hike on Instagram already. I just hiked for friggin' over 4 months straight, and I have like 10, 12 photos to show for it. And even beyond just like the content thing, I wish I had taken more photos just for me too, because there's a lot of special moments that happen on a through hike and happened on my through hike that didn't even come across in the videos. And I wish I had more photos of those moments to look back on. Brandon, one of the guys I was hiking with, would take photos constantly. He would take like photos of everything, of everybody. There's probably a few photos of my dick somewhere in his camera roll. Brandon, if you're watching this, please upload all those photos. I didn't take enough photos. Don't make that mistake. This next regret is probably the biggest one that I have from the whole hike. I really regret the mindset I had going into the hike. On every other through hike I've done in my life, the AT, the long trail, the through hike I did right to your mom's house last night, it's always been about hiking the whole trail. Like that's not all it's about, obviously, but that's been like the main objective is like, I'm through hiking this trail, like I wanna be able to actually hike the entire trail. I want continuous footsteps. And going into the PCT, that was the same attitude that Flossie and I had. Now, I do not regret having this attitude on every other hike I've done, and going forward, on most hikes that I do, I'm still gonna have this attitude. That's just how I like to do it. It makes it more fun for me, it makes it more of a challenge. I like to do that. That's how I am. However, for a trail like the PCT, I should have known that fires were gonna happen, that were gonna ruin our continuous footsteps. Of course, maybe I wouldn't have known that like the border would be closed at the end and like literally the worst spot for that to happen, but you know, I should have known better. And this one, like genuinely, I do regret because I think it did put a damper on the hike. And you guys probably saw that with a lot of the complaining and stuff I did on camera. And I'm sure a lot of you were frustrated by that because you're like, Kyle, no shit. Like the PCT has fires every single year. It's super rare and super difficult for someone to actually be able to hike the whole trail. Again, I knew that going into it. Like I knew fires happened. I knew they were a likelihood even, but I just didn't fully make that connection in my brain. Again, I was very ignorant about this. I thought that things would be different for Flossie and I kind of just put it off. I was hoping for the best, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I was convinced that the best was gonna happen. And I think if a closure had happened early on in the trail, it actually wouldn't have been that big of a deal because we would have just had to get over the fact that our continuous footsteps are gone right from the beginning, and then we could have, you know, readjusted the mindset. But we got through more than half of the trail before any fire closures happened. And so the further north we got, the more and more convinced Flossie and I became that like, oh shit, we might actually be able to pull this off. It also didn't help that there was a lot of people saying early on that like Washington and Oregon got a lot of snow, and so it's really wet up there, which it was, and therefore fires won't be as bad up there. So Flossie and I were like, okay, we just gotta make it through California. No fires in California, we'll be good after that. We won't have to worry about it. Very, very naive, clearly, because in hindsight, that's not what happened at all. Most of the fires that we dealt with were, I guess there's a little bit in Northern California and then also in Oregon and in Washington, the places that everyone was saying weren't gonna have fires. Again, the whole like continuous footsteps thing, purist, some people call it, which I don't really care for because it's always used negatively, but that's like my style. I still like that, but some trails I've learned you just can't go in with that mindset because you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. So in the future, if I'm hiking a trail that often has closures because of fires or other reasons, I'm really gonna try to go in with a different mindset. I still don't even know exactly what that's gonna look like, but I'm not gonna be as focused on continuous footsteps. I'm gonna try to just be in the moment maybe a little bit more, and I don't know, I gotta come up with some other objectives for a hike if continuous footsteps isn't realistic. Maybe you guys have experience with this. You can leave a comment, tell me how you deal with this stuff if you're a purist like me. With that said, I'm still gonna go finish the PCT at some point, hopefully next year. And I am still gonna, I guess it wouldn't be continuous footsteps, but I am still gonna get footsteps of the whole trail. So I'm excited to be able to go back actually and finish the trail without that as a concern, like just knowing like, okay, I'm just gonna fill in the gaps here and I'm just gonna enjoy the trail and be present. I know a lot of people that watch these videos have thru hiked before, so if you've thru hiked any trail, not even the PCT, leave a comment with what your biggest regrets are. I really like talking about this stuff. I think a lot of people are gonna get value from this stuff, people that are looking to thru hike in the future. I hate fires.